Hi, and welcome to the SoCal Yearbook Gal Education Series designed to inspire, encourage, support, and make your life easier. This week, we are talking about critiques and how you can use last year's book to make this year's book better. So before we do that, though, we're going to take a look at the yearbook production plan, what to do when. This is week 3 of October. And this is the week to start thinking about celebrating your staff members' birthdays and accomplishments. Don't forget to do that. If you have like a poster on the wall or something like that where you can actually have their birthdays all written down, it is really nice to just take a second, especially as the school year gets a little bit more stressful with yearbook, to take a moment and just celebrate. We used to do this really fun thing. It was called the Interlude. I'm sure that all of my students are like, shh, like, don't tell them this. But it was the Interlude by Attack Attack, and it was the coolest thing ever. Where if you look it up, it's super fun. There's a dance that's associated with it, and for the students' birthdays in my yearbook class only, we would shut off the lights, we would project this Interlude dance, and we shut the door, and we would dance. We would because it shows exactly how to do this dance. We would do this dance together, and it was so much fun. The kids were seriously looking forward to it. Every single time somebody had a birthday, we knew that we were going to do the dance to celebrate that student. So whatever you do, let it be unique to your class. Let it be something fun, but some way of celebrating those students on their birthday. I think that would be really, really special. And again, your job is to build that community and that family in your classroom. So try to do that if you can. So review any critiques from your past. If you submitted your book for critique, that's a really great way of figuring out what you want to do differently this year versus years past. If you have not submitted for a national critique, then you might want to consider just taking last year's book, gathering around, and just talking about it. And some of these things that students are going to notice are maybe like, oh, our font size was really big, or, well, we didn't really carry our theme throughout the book. We had this theme and it said this to that, but we didn't really explain what this to that meant, and it didn't make any sense throughout our book. Something along those lines. And I'm not saying that about the this to that book. I think that's a great theme, but make sure that whenever you have a theme, you explain it and develop it throughout your book. So those are the kind of things to look for. Also, maybe your pictures need some work. Maybe you had a lot of pictures of students like with their arms around each other or something like that, instead of actually having action and emotion in your pictures. So maybe it's a photography thing. Maybe it's copywriting or caption writing, those kind of things. And I have videos on all of these too. If you want to go through the SoCal Yearbook Gal website, the video series, and look for some of these things, I have videos on how to do those things better. But go through last year's book and just see, what do you want to change? What do you want to make better? What do you want to keep? And so that's kind of organization and planning. And then make sure that you're taking group photos for your sports and events, especially right now. If we don't know what's going to happen, things are looking good so far. Maybe not. We don't know. Take team pictures as fast as you can. Don't wait until the end of the season for you to take those team pictures. Take them now so that you can have that for, I like having it in the reference section in the back of the book, having all of those team pictures together as a reference versus keeping them on the spread. The reason why I like doing that is because in order to have those little heads as big as they need to be in order for them to be worth having on a spread, it would probably end up being your dominant photo, and team pictures really probably shouldn't be your dominant photo on your spreads. So reference section in the back, maybe right before the index. If you do an index, that's a good place for that. But just don't forget to take those pictures while we have the opportunity. And some people don't even remember to take them until after the sport's over, and then it's a lot harder to get those pictures. So I like to do it as soon as the jerseys are in, and then I take the team picture. And then any sort of promotion that you can do for your book. I've been doing videos for my schools to help promote the book. Now is a great time to do that. I like doing that in the spring also. It's like a final push. But right now, it's a great time to push those ad sales before winter break, and also your book sales. So push all of that before winter break. All right. And then the last thing is to distribute checklists or conduct a peer review clocking exercise to clarify expectations before turning in spreads. If you have rubrics, I would definitely recommend, if you don't have rubrics, to start thinking about that. I know I have some new advisors too who are like, I don't know how to grade yearbook. That's kind of stressful. I get it. I remember that too. I was like, can I justify this? It's like, well, if it's done, it gets an A, and if it's not, that's really difficult. If you're pass fail, then I see how that might work. But if you are actually grading your students, it's really good to have a rubric. And I used to grade my students on a 75-point scale, and that was on how well they followed the theme, if they had the correct font size for the headlines and for the captions, and if they had a dominant photo, if they had an eyeline, and I assigned points to all of those things. And then they knew, they were handed the rubric before they designed their spread. They knew exactly what they were going to get their points for. And then I had my editors go through and critique each of these. And it's objective at that point because they knew what they needed to do. It's objective. They have their rubric, and the editors are just looking through and they're like, is the font size right? Yes. And they'll just go through the pages before they're submitted. So that's a really great way of grading also, but knowing that there's consistency in your book as well. So anyway, I hope that helps. There's so much there this week, but good luck. Critique those books and make this book better than any other book you've ever done. Take care, you guys.